welcome to the FuturePrint Tech Fest. I'm Karis Kopp, and this session is on collaborative development. It's the key to Colordyne's newest inkjet engine, featuring UV LED technology. Delighted to be joined by Product Manager Ron Brown at Colordyne. Thanks so much for joining us, Ron.
Thank you, and thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Of course, really happy to have you guys here. I think a great place to start before we dive into the topic of the session is just to get an idea of you, Ron, and your background in the industry and your role at Colordyne.
Sure. Quick summary, I've been in print for 35 plus years now. Everything from offset to gravure to flexo, and now digital inkjet. I've been at Colordyne for approximately 11 years, since 2011, going on 11 years now. And I'm the product manager of our UV inkjet technology, focusing on the UV inkjet technology today.
And what about Colordyne itself? For those that don't know, could you give us kind of a introduction of Colordyne as a company?
Sure. Colordyne's been around for about 11 years now. They started in 2010. We focused on everybody from brand owners to converters, retrofit solutions on narrow web flexo presses. We focus on inkjet technologies, everything from aqueous inkjets to UV inkjets. And recently we have, in the past year, we have expanded this into what we call a SIP, or strategic integration partners, and it allows us to develop, or it allows our customers to develop and deploy their technology much faster. So we go into providing them an engine technology based on their needs, and they can integrate it into their platforms, whether that platform is, we have some, we call them SIPs, strategic integration partners. We have some SIPs that already have digital inkjet or digital technologies, and others that do not. And they're looking to expand further into those markets and add their value to what we provide. And it goes into several different market areas: labels, packaging, corrugates, a lot of different print widths, speeds. And we break down our engines into what we call Chromoplex. We call it a Chromoplex engines. So we have 3 different families of Chromoplex. We've got the Chromoplex LT, which is typically a lower speed aqueous pigment inkjet, CMYK only. And then a step up from that is our Chromoplex AP, which is also an aqueous pigment, but it gets into much higher speeds, upwards of 600, 700, 800 feet per minute, and widths up to 100 plus inches wide. And then we get into our UV, Chromoplex UV. So the UV engine is what we're going to focus on today. And we tailor all of our products to meet the customer's needs, or the strategic integration partner's needs. And modular designs. So what we're going to talk about today is more in depth as far as the UV inkjet development side of it and what we've done. This is our 2nd generation that we've deployed into the field, and we'll talk more in depth about that shortly.
Fantastic. Before we do, if we stay on the SIP partner program for a moment and kind of look at why Colordyne decided to create this SIP initiative, and why create a new division of the company focused on print engine development as well.
Sure. The reason for it is it allows our integration partners a much quicker deployment to the field for their products. It simplifies their integration. We're providing if I use the computer analogy, it's the Intel inside. So they'll provide a print technology for their products, and then we integrate it into their machines, and it becomes their machine at that point. It just allows them to much quicker development, and a much lower cost development for them, and they can deploy it much quicker.
Fantastic. And yeah, we were talking about the the second generation of the UV LED inkjet engine launched earlier this year, I believe, by Colordyne. Can you talk us through the key changes that were made, that Colordyne made with this second generation of UV LED inkjet engine?
Sure. We got a lot of feedback from our customers, our existing customers are the Gen 1s. And what we did was we went through and collaborated with them on what they liked, what they didn't like, what they'd like to see changed. So some of the big things that we changed were the fact that the original engine had what we call a clamshell, okay, and it opened like a clam lid. Now that had some inherent disadvantages. While it worked, there was a better way to do it. It was a manual open and close. So what we did was we went to more of the clamshell design lifted vertically now. And it's also automated. It's an air actuated lift. You'll see that when we demo it. So the reason we did those things is it's better control of the ink delivery. So you're not upsetting the height of the print heads in relation to the ink delivery modules or ink delivery system. Okay. Also allows the automation part of it allows the user to, if they've got a splice detector, the last thing, and anybody in inkjet knows, you never want to strike a print head. You strike a print head, you damage a print head typically. So the splice detector, if there's a splice detector on it, we can tie into that splice detector and we can automatically lift our printhead chassis, pause the system, lift the printhead chassis, and then bring it back down. Or we can add a splice detector if they don't have one. All those options are available. We also have an optional automated maintenance system. So what you're going to see today in the demo is a manual system, and most of our customers are fine with it. They don't need the automation, but if you want the automation, we can also add an automated maintenance station to it. The print widths have changed significantly. Originally, we had an 8.5 and a 12 3/4. So what we've done in this new design is we have two base engines. One is an 8.5 inch wide, and the other one is a 17 inch wide. And an 8.5 engine, you can populate it with a 4 1/4 print head or an 8.5. And the 17 inch chassis, you can go anywhere from 4 1/4, 8.5, 12 3/4, or to 17. And it allows them the ability in the field to upgrade if necessary. So we have some customers already that are buying a 17 inch chassis, populating with 8.5, with the expectation in the future they're going to go to 12 3/4, and other ones that are populating at 12 3/4 right now, and they may go to a 17 inch in the future. And all of that is upgradable in the field. We've also gone to a 7 channel chassis. So you've got the ability of having 7 different colors. Obviously, everybody's going to do CMYK. We have some customers that want a higher opacity on white. So we add 2 white channels, cyan, magenta, yellow, black. And then there's an extra channel for a spot color. You can go to extended gamut with orange, green, and violet, and any combination of whites, CMYK, OGV. Some customers are going to 6 channels, some will go to 7, some will do 5, and any combination of those are available to them. We've also added intercolor pinning to each channel. You have the option of adding a 8-watt pinning lamp, which is typically what you use on the whites, or a 2-watt pinning lamp on your CMYK OGVs or your spot colors. And in the software, we allow the user to create a specific profile for a specific job that's savable, and they can adjust the intensity of the lamps anywhere from up to their 0% up to their max, turn them off, and a specific ramping, we call it a ramping profile. So depending on the speed they're going to run and the intensity they want to have at a specific speed, they can create their own ramping profiles. And all of them are savable in the software and recallable that you can attach to a specific job or a setup. Ink delivery modules, our ink delivery system is significantly different now as well. So our ink delivery system is per channel. and the user has the ability to adjust the meniscus pressure if they need to. So as anybody in UV inkjet or inkjet knows, your meniscus pressures are important. Otherwise, you get drooling problems, you get air ingestion problems, everything else. And your inks across the different inks, different colors can be a little bit different, specifically for white. So this allows the meniscus pressures to be adjusted individually across each of those. Oh, one other thing. We recirculate now. We've got a constant recirculation through the print heads that prevents air bubbles or prevents air from plugging the nozzles. So we're constantly circulating ink and also keeps the ink mixed specifically for white. White is very important to keep that mixed. Otherwise, the pigments will settle out.
Wow. I mean, a really substantial amount of upgrades and changes there to the inkjet engine. What, how do you go about realizing that these changes need to be made? What problems are you solving with these particular design enhancements?
Okay. Again, it was very, very collaborative with our existing users. We talked to all the existing users and said, what do you like and not like? We added a lot of automation to it. So when you see the product, we've added a lot of automation to it, and we continue to add automation to it. We just want to make it easier for the users, greater flexibility. So in our design out there, as I mentioned, each of the channels are specific. You can get 7 channels. You can have your engine configured in any order you want. For ink colors, ink locations, all the channels the plates are, how do I say it? All the print heads and components are mounted to a plate which mounts to the engine, and the plates are all the same size. Mm-hmm. So I have an 8-watt penning lamp versus a 2-watt penning lamp. It all mounts to the same location, and you can move things around. So a lot more flexibility. And then the other thing was obviously the pinning lamps in each one allow control of pinning to prevent coalescence of the inks.
Fantastic. And I think what we're going to do now, Ron, is just cut to a short video of you talking about everything that we've gone through so far with that engine. So here's the video.
Okay, so we're going to walk through our print engine now. We got a 7-channel engine, CMYK. This specific engine, we've got white, CMYK in a spot. You can do CMYK OGV or any combination of those you want. We have our HIBs, our head interface boards right here, our pinning lamps, and our print heads. And then we have our ink delivery modules up here. The ink delivery modules mounted to the print head chassis so that they're on the same plane, and they always stay on the same plane regardless of what you do with the print head chassis. And you'll see that later as we go up and down and slide it to the back. Each of these print channels are on individual plates. So you can pull these plates out and you can fill them in with whatever you need. We've got different wattage pinning lamps as needed. We have an 8-watt and a 2-watt pinning lamp that we've talked about earlier. It's an arched design, so it maintains contact with the web or the material at all times. And then it comes out, goes into our final cure lamps and a chill roll. So we've got a chill roll here and a final cure lamp on each side of it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a chained job of 4 jobs together at 230 feet per minute. Okay, then from a maintenance standpoint, typically once a day, you're going to want to purge and wipe the print heads. So to do that, we unlatch this and we slide it to the back, and you can slide it from either the front or the back. Once it's in the back, you have access to your print heads here. So you do a purge cycle, it goes into our purge tray, you wipe them, and you slide it back to the front. And then we latch it. And you're ready to run for the day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Ron. It's really interesting to kind of see it in action, and I'd love to talk a bit more about the collaboration side of things. How was partner collaboration a key component for successful design and execution of the engine?
Oh, excellent question. So we collaborate with, I hate using the term best of breed, but we work with a lot of integration partners. So we bring in partners like Cal Collins is a big one. From an ink standpoint, they've been outstanding from a responsiveness and a development standpoint. If we have an issue, they're right there. Mm-hmm. So we bring in people like Cal Collins and our ink delivery systems and our components themselves. We pick the best components. And when we integrate that, we always do that with the goal of solving a problem that a customer has, our existing customers have got. Mm-hmm. That's where we got to the point we are with this Gen 2, is we bring in the partners that we need, and then we do the software in-house. So all of our software development is done in-house. So that's why when we make all these changes and customers come back to us and say, hey, can you add this? Can you do this? We have the ability to do that all in-house.
Fantastic. And maybe we could talk a little bit, you mentioned Cal Collins there. Can we talk more about that partnership on ink development for the UV engine with Cal Collins?
Sure. So what we've done when we developed with Cal Collins, we brought them in, explained to them what we were trying to accomplish, some of the challenges that we were having, and they work with us very, very closely. They'll come up with we'll call it a prototype or a new ink set, and we'll bring it back in here and we'll test it. They've also got inkjet heads there, obviously, at Cal Collins, so they're doing their own internal testing for different things. So, but when they have a product that they feel is ready, they'll send us a 10-liter box and we run it and see whether or not it solves the problems. They've been very, very good to work with, very responsive.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's great to hear about that process. I wonder if we could just look at, you discussed both selling to direct to end users and working with your partners, your SIP partners as well. Can you talk a little bit about what formats the new UV engine is available in?
Sure. So the UV Chromoplex engines, again, we've got all the different sizes, and the SIPs, depending on what the SIP is looking for. So a lot of these have got different levels of engineering internally. So if they come to us and say, hey, we want to do this part of it, we want to do that part of it, or no, we can't do any of this, then we pick up those things there. So we really customize the solution for them so that they can add the value where they can add the value, and we add the value where they can't. And then we also sell it to existing, outside of the SIP program, we'll sell it to end users, and we basically take the same engine that we sell to the SIPs and we integrate it into our own platforms and sell that to people like converters or brand owners who are end users.
Fantastic. Just for those that are here with us at the Tech Fest and beyond, what actions should people be taking if they are interested in integrating UV inkjet with their systems?
Well, if they think they need UV inkjet, they really need to. There are so many technologies out there. There's UV inkjet, there's aqueous inkjet, there's toners. There's plenty of different technologies out there. They think that UV inkjet is their solution or what they're looking for, reach out to us. There's been several times in the past where we've actually turned customers away because they've come to us and said, this is what I want to accomplish. I think this will do it. And when we've gone through it, we said, no, this isn't the technology for you. you really should be talking to XYZ company because that's really the technology you're looking for. So best thing to do is come talk to us. We are very open. And if our technology is not for you, we're going to tell you it's not for you. Because if our customers aren't successful, we're not successful. And it's going to be happy.
Absolutely. That's certainly the right approach, isn't it? And I think it's something that we see that the inkjet development that we see is there's so much innovation going on in the space. I've learned so much from listening to partners and speakers at the Future Print events, and obviously collaboration is so at the heart of that. Is that something that you think is vital for inkjet development, staying at the kind of forefront of innovation?
Yes, if people aren't collaborating and being open about the technologies that are available and what they're doing, and like you said, the technology is changing so rapidly. We have a lot of internal people here that are focusing on just that and trying to keep up with everything going on. There are changes happening every single day. Inks and technologies. It's a very fast moving train.
Absolutely, it is, and a really exciting one. And it's so great to have you here at the event talking about what Colodyne are doing. Really interesting stuff. And thank you so much, Ron, for taking the time to join us. Ron Brown, Product Manager at Colodyne. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you to everybody watching our sessions. It's the Future Print Tech Fest. I'm Karis Kopp, and there's more great content from the event on the way, so don't go anywhere.